Well, as the refugee crisis from Ukraine worsens, Poland has so far accepted more than 1 million people. Many Poles have welcomed Ukrainians into their homes, but the authorities in Warsaw say that the capital could be overwhelmed with around 300,000 people arriving so far. Sky's Lisa Holland is in Warsaw in Poland, where she says there's a rush to ensure that facilities are ready for the number of Ukrainian refugees who are entering the country.
Poland has been taking in the lion's share of the millions who have currently now fled from the war zone in Ukraine. In this city alone, the Polish capital, we worked out that on current figures, they've taken in the last 2 weeks something like an additional 15% of their kind of previous population. What they don't know, of course, is how long people are going to stay. Therefore, they're having to kind of work out what sort of facilities to set up, frantically kind of turning arenas, sports halls, centres into sort of temporary shelters to put a roof over the head of these women and children. Like more than 90% of the people coming are women and children. They need to sort of look after and entertain the children. We also have learned, though, that some have already started school here in Warsaw. So that's really kind of an enormous thing that people are putting down roots. I think one of the key factors as far as Poland is concerned is that unlike other kind of peaks of refugee crises that we've seen in the past, quite often refugees, migrants want to sort of transit through countries like Poland on their way to Northern Europe and potentially countries like the United Kingdom. It's a very different situation here now because people actually want to stay quite close to Ukraine. Remember that they have husbands, brothers, fathers fighting there. People have homes that they really want to go back to. They want to rebuild their lives and rebuild their families. Therefore, there is this immense pressure on Warsaw and on Poland. It's pretty complex, but you've got people who are actually just still trying to get on trains to elsewhere within this part of Europe, so sleeping at the train station and not even using the kind of temporary beds put up in shelters. It's really quite a sort of frantic and chaotic scene.
Well, amid that refugee crisis, a new visa processing centre is going to be set up in the French city of Arras. That's for Ukrainians who are trying to come here to Britain. Well, Laura Bundock joins me now from Arras in France. Laura, there's been a lot of confusion, hasn't there, and a lot of almost sort of hurry up and wait about this. Can you clarify for us what the situation is now for people trying to come here?
There has been a lot of confusion. Monday, it was supposed to be in Calais. Wednesday, in Lille. Today, it is in Arras. This is it. This is a French administrative building here. This is where the Home Office pop-up visa centre will be, and it will not be taking appointments or walk-ins. It's for people who'll be referred here, so Ukrainians who have the paperwork, have the family in the UK, and they can be processed here quickly. But of course, it's come way too late for the many Ukrainian families we've met who've already made their way to Calais. Let me tell you about our 3 cousins, Alina, Oksana and Nadia. I met them on Monday in Calais. I met them again yesterday just outside Lille. They've left Kyiv, their home. They've left their husbands there to fight. They've brought between them 4 children aged between 5 and 12, carrying tiny suitcases each. I mean, no luggage at all. They have family in the UK. They all individually have family in the UK. They filled out the visas, which in itself was difficult. The forms are in English, so a lot of app using, trying to translate them. Took about an hour per person, so that was 7 hours to complete the forms. They are now, as I speak, in Paris, completing the biometric test, the biometric side of the application. And then they'll have to go back to this pretty grotty hostel outside Lille, where they'll have to wait for up to 5 days to find out whether or not the visa's been approved. They showed me the addresses of the family they have in the UK. They have family there. And the thing is, what really struck me is Alina said to me, look, we don't want to come to the UK for benefits. We don't want money. We just want to be with our family, she said. Look, we only want to be here for a couple of months. They have every intention of returning to Ukraine, back to their husbands, their jobs, their schools as soon as they can. But for now, they just need somewhere safe to stay. And Europe isn't an option. They don't know anyone in Europe. They don't speak any other language apart from Ukrainian and English. And it was desperate hearing from them. So they'll have this really long wait before they find out if these these visas are approved before they can then make it across the channel into the UK. They've just faced these huge bureaucratic barriers that's left them in this really depressing limbo, struggling to get to Britain.
Yeah, certainly. All right, Laura, thank you. Now, there are reports that Russian forces are moving closer to Ukraine's capital of Kiev. Doctors and nurses in and around the capital are now running a frontline medical facility given over entirely to treating wounded Ukrainian soldiers. Our special correspondent Alex Crawford reports now from the edge of Kiev.
They arrive stuffed into car boots and on the back seats. They're taking some terrible hits trying to stop the Russian troops entering the Ukrainian capital, laid out on already blood-soaked stretchers. The soldiers have just been shelled on a front line which is creeping ever closer to Kyiv. And it's the nearest hospital, now entirely turned over to dealing with the war wounded. These aren't army medics, they're the town's doctors and nurses who 2 weeks ago were dealing with births and bone breaks. Now they're plunged into a new world, spent trying to save the lives of soldiers and civilians torn apart by bombs and bullets.
It's the World War III.
It's World War III.
It's World War III, and it could be stopped here, or it could move through all the world. Please help us to stop this war.
They are shell-shocked and shaking. And so far, the politicians' peace talks have got nowhere. Hospitals are protected locations under international law, but no one here trusts that to be observed. Yet there's an astonishing resilience and perhaps a realization they have no option. It's not difficult for us to fight, he tells us. We're defending our land and will continue to protect it. But then he delivers a rousing call, not just to his fellow Ukrainian men and women, but also the rest of the world. Everyone has to stand together, he says. Glory to Ukraine, our army will win. This is on the northwest edge of the capital, and we found multiple vehicles and homes which had been hit, apparently indiscriminately. There seems to be no shortage of lucky escapes. He was on duty as an emergency worker.
So you just live close by?
His house, 5 houses from here.
There are thousands of lives abruptly halted by this war. Pets abandoned in the rush to keep out of the way of the rockets and bombs. Families who've upped and left everything just to try to survive. There's a constant sound of artillery and shelling going on, and you can see the devastation that some of the attacks have already had. We know, according to the locals here, that the Russians are only a few kilometers down the road, and this is the constant backdrop. So those who can't or won't leave live in a shadowy underground world below the booming war sounds. About half of the capital's population has fled the city, according to the mayor.
Smells good. Smells good.
We're just waiting for victory, for everything to be good again, she says, and trying not to cry. These are the bravest of women, tending to some of the community's most vulnerable and most frightened. We've already learnt how to tell the difference between our side's shooting and the enemy's, Natalia tells us. We can identify everything, and we're just trying to keep everyone calm. They're already living under siege here, with sons and partners fighting and their homes bombed. For sure, this is a crime, and Putin has to be punished, she tells us. They're engaged in the fight of their lives to stop the Russian troops advancing any further. But their president's warning, much more of their blood will be spilt unless his nation gets international military support. Alex Crawford, Sky News, on the edge of the capital, Kyiv.
Well, if you scan the QR code on your screen right now, you can listen to today's episode of the Sky News Daily Podcast. On this edition, our correspondent Shingi Marariki speaks to Sky's Alex Crawford about her UK exclusive interview with the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, and what it's like reporting on the front line. You can subscribe to The Daily wherever you get your podcasts. Well, let's bring you now some pictures which have just come into us here at Sky News. This video that we're about to show you shows Ukrainian soldiers fighting Russian soldiers in a village near Kiev. It was released by a group of journalists from Radio Free Europe who are travelling with the Ukrainian military. Those latest pictures coming to us here at Sky News. Well, we've also been hearing from the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who's been holding a Security Council meeting and calling on foreign fighters to help Russian-backed forces.
Regarding the gathering mercenaries from around the world for Ukraine, we see them, the Western sponsors of the Ukrainian regime, do not keep it secret. They do it openly, disregarding international law. So if you see people who want voluntarily, without payment, to come and help people living in Donbass, well, we need to meet their efforts and help them to reach the combat zone.
You're watching Sky News Today. Coming up, as Russian forces close in on the south of Ukraine, I'll be speaking to the mayor of the city of Mykolaiv.
Confirming that they are now engaged with Russian soldiers. Air raid sirens fill the airways.
In the distance, artillery rains down.
It feels very close to the center of... There's one.
They found this devastation to their apartment.
Lots of people live here. Quite a few of the windows of the houses have been blown out by the blast.
And it feels that it's changing each day.
Going on. I'm Alex Crawford and I'm Sky's special correspondent based in Istanbul.
This is what makes the job so fantastic.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform. Track your shipment. online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maida Vale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows: Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempe.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com, or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've
that?
been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world in a just. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
We serve a miracle working God. There is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maida Vale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows: Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempe.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. With us.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile. If you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you're listening to Starr.
Your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
The coolest way to start your weekend.
Okay, and that is how I say a massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Those of you on other planets as well, we want to salute you all. We want to welcome you to the Friday edition of the morning show. Today is the 11th day of March, the year 2022. Why did I say 2021? Well, a year on. Okay, 2022. Yes, you see, I'm in a Friday mood, and that's why. So I want to welcome you all. Do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. But let me take the opportunity to say good morning to my colleagues, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi, Kojo D, Mr. Dan Tabiri, and our able producer, Mr. Francis Gaye. Massive good morning to you all, gentlemen. To all the lady presenters on Starr Radio UK, I salute each and every one of you. From Linda all the way in Cyprus, through water, Simone Frazier, Regina Anima, and Evia Sewarakoto, and the one and only Vicky Newton. Massive good morning to you. I hope you're all doing very, very well. And today, all presenters on Starr Radio UK as well, I salute each and every one of you. Dave West, I hope you are doing very well, and the family there as well. Okido. Felix, massive good morning to you. Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, I salute you, sir. Hey, Malik, I hope you are doing good. And to Mr. David Kluche, long time no here. Gentlemen, please just get in touch. Let me know that you are doing well in the family. Salute. To our listeners in the US, those of you in Europe, those of you in Asia, those of you in Australia, those of you on the African continent, especially those of you in Ghana, Uganda, Nigeria, South Africa, Gambia, we salute each and every one of you, and it's a pleasure once again to come your way. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only,
The coolest way to start your weekend.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Playing in the background, the goodness of God. A cover version by the Joyful Way Incorporated. I hope you are enjoying it and recounting or counting your blessings and naming them one by one. Okay, so now let's move on. If it's your first time of tuning in to listen to us on Friday, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update. We'll move on and have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as the Global Trotting. Exactly at 11 o'clock, we'll be having Ms. Olayomi Koiki, who will be joining us to bring us updates from Nigeria. There are a few stories that's making the rounds, but it's going to bring you more about that. And then we'll move on from there to look at some of the other stories making the rounds. At 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussion. But before then, if you want to comment on anything, feel free, post it on our Facebook page. Then at 12:30, our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of JL Accountancy Services, will be coming your way with the money hour. And today we're going to be looking at their household budget, especially in these times where things are so high. Cutting your energy spending, etc., etc. How do you even do that? Well, he'll be bringing that your way exactly at 12:30. Then at 1 o'clock, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in a gist, that is how it's going to be. But as I say all the time, if you are standing, hold on to something. If you are sitting, sit very comfortably, buckle up. It could be bumpy, but you are rest assured of one thing for sure. Safe arrival at your destination. Archie is here and happiness is near. All right then, let's crack on. Time for 9:45 the time. The quote for the day says, if leaders and the people in a particular nation allow corrupt practices to become the norm, the underdevelopment becomes the obvious outcome. How true is that when it comes to the Africa or the developing world? If leaders and the people in a particular nation allow corrupt practices to become the norm, the underdevelopment becomes the obvious outcome. And this one coming away from Starr Radio UK. Moving on straight to the weather front. Yeah, this weekend is going to be one of those. Starting from in an hour's time, it's going to be chatting out with rain here. Okay, turning overcast this afternoon as outbreaks of rain sweeps in at times. The rain will linger around for a while before it clears to showers later. A breezy day expected. Tonight, blustering showers will continue to stream in from the southwest, and with an odd rumble of thunder possible, it will be quite a cloudy night, although a few clear spells will develop at times. Now, when it comes to the temperature, the total temperature is going to be exactly 13 degrees. The lower is going to be 7. Pollution level is going to be low. UV level is going to be low as well. Sunset 17:58 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 06:25 hours. Now, when it comes to the weekend weather for you, now tomorrow a few sharp showers will linger into the morning. It will turn drier and brighter in the afternoon, with spells of sunshine developing and just a few patches of cloud drifting in at times. Yes, on Sunday we'll see will be wet and windy with the spells of rain through the morning. It's going to be turning brighter in the afternoon with some sunshine developing though. So in a gist, that is what is going to be happening today and over the weekend. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, Starr Radio UK. Now let's move on straight to the travel updates, and we move on to the Global Trotting segment of the program as well. So let's get on straight to the travel update. Don't you worry. Yes. The rest of the music will be coming your way for you to enjoy it. Now, so when it comes to underground, good service throughout, apart from the Northern Line that's got park closures until mid-May. Now, the London Overground has got reduced service changes to Stratford to Richmond, Clapham Junction times on Friday. Today, that is, okay, and the 21:59 train from Stratford to Richmond will terminate at Camden Road at 22:18. The 23:17 train from Richmond to Willesden Junction will not run. So please check before you leave. Now, TFL Rail Good Service, DLR Good Service, London Tramlink Good Service there as well. Now, moving on straight to the river bus. On the river bus, apart from the Woolwich Ferry that is suspended, all the others have got good service. Now, keep your eyes on the road. Now, let's move on to the National Rail. On the National Rail this morning, Cross Country, Gatwick Express, Great Northern, Great Western Railway, Great Anglia, Northern Rail have all got special service. Southwestern Railway, Thameslink, Transport for Wales have also got special service. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated. I promise. Our bond, the Starr Radio travel update that comes your way every weekday from 10:40. It's now gone exactly what? 10:49. So the final segment of the travel updates. Yes, that's major roads in London. A10 has got closures, A316 closures, A4 closures, and Central London Red Routes closures there as well. And that is why I will say, well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
There is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maida Vale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows: Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempeh.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. A couple of announcements, and then we will move on straight to the travel. To my apologies to the global trotting, the global update as to what is happening from across the globe. And as it's been announced, Prophet Prempeh Ministries will be in London, a double portion, as it's called, double portion summit, starting from today, 11th of March, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Yes, if you want to register, the barcode is there. You can just go on our on the app as you are listening to us, or on your Facebook, and just scan that barcode and you will get it on. Well, the venue is Marriott Hotel, Maidvale Plaza Parade, Maidvale, London, NW6 5RP. Okay, so go on. The program continues on Saturday and Sunday as well. Now, when it comes to another women to women ministry, also presents the Women's Pampering Day. That's Saturday with the 19th of March. Saturday the 19th of March, next week Saturday, and that is 2022. Time 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The address is Fulham United Reformed Church, and then that is number 4722480 Fulham Palace Road, London, SW6 6HY. Okay, and then come in and you enjoy some makeup, hair, nails, beauty, free gift, and much more going to be happening that day. So I think all the women have to be there. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. When she speaks, her words are wise, and she gives instruction with kindness. Proverbs chapter 31 verses 25 to 26. Okay, some of the speakers there will be Letitia, who will be doing the skincare, Hello Whiskey, Mary Kay Consultant, Layid Farumbi Skincare, Esther Hadessa Eyes, and Mother and Daughter Creations as well. So make sure you go there. It's going to be a pampering time for you. Who would say that you don't need pampering? Oh my goodness. We have to pamper our women, and therefore it's an opportunity for you to enjoy that service on the 19th of March 2022. All right then. Okay, it's now time for Global Trotting. Let's crack on. Quickly, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining us in the next 5-6 minutes. Now, lawmakers urge security agencies to enforce bandits prescription order. So what is the bandit prescription order? He'll be telling you more about that. An arrested Lagos BRT driver raped me inside bus, says victim who presented evidence. Wow. So it's been something like something that he has been doing. It's like this black cab driver who was wooing women in his cab that he's won lottery, and then went on to rape them. Well. We'll be bringing you more on that front. But moving on to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Here in the UK front, people can welcome refugees into own homes. That's what the Prime Minister is saying. Details of sponsorship visa scheme to host Ukrainians will be revealed on Monday. Boris Johnson is saying Abramovich sanctioned by UK. Chelsea football club owner Roman Abramovich, one of 7 oligarchs sanctioned by the UK. And Sunak warns of significant economic uncertainty. The UK economy rebounds in January, but the Chancellor warns of uncertainty due to the invasion of Ukraine. So what is government going to do? Are they going to, bring some bounce back to the various families or houses or homes? What is going to happen there? Yeah, we'll be bringing you more details about that as things unfold across the globe. And Russia widens attack as fresh cities are targeted. The Ukrainian cities of Lusk, Dnipro, and Ivano Frankvich have been targeted in the fresh wave of Russian attacks. To what end? When will it all end? Satellites show Russia convoy regrouping near Kiev. That's the story. Images of convoys redeployment appear to signal a renewed push towards the Ukrainian capital. And Putin seeks foreign volunteers to fight in Ukraine. The Russian president says those who want to volunteer to fight alongside Russia should be able to. Is it trying to bring in Syrian fighters as well? Well, we'll be bringing you more on that. But after that, Russia has got one of the mightiest army soldiers when it comes to the tops. I mean, you have the US, you have Russia, you have China, you have India, you have Pakistan. I think the UK is what? Is it about 6 or something there? But they're still even asking for more people to come and help them to do so. Well, North Korea has tested intercontinental missile system. Interesting. What a world we live in. What a world we live in. Lots more going to be coming your way. Don't you worry. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, George Smollett has been sentenced to jail for attack hoax. A Chicago judge told Joseph Smollett that he has turned his life upside down with that hoax, that prank that he pulled, saying that he was abused racial abuse, suffered racial abuse, and I will find out that wasn't that true. Okay, and then moving on straight to some other parts of the Latin American area as well. Chile couples joy as first. Oh my goodness. Okay, Venezuela releases 2 jailed U.S. citizens. The 2 were released just days after a high-level U.S. delegation met President Nicolas Maduro. So what? Are they, now that they are pushing for Venezuela to now pump up more oil, and Iran to also pump up to actually shore up the amount of oil in the system, and then bring the prices down? Do you think that is a good move? Is it a good gesture there? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Now moving on straight to the African continent. Nigeria intercepts hundreds of sacks of donkey meat. Well, we'll be telling you more about that in a moment. Officials say about 1,000 donkeys were slaughtered and their meat packed in the sacks. I don't know who eats donkey meat though, but every meat is eatable, isn't it? Okay, South Africa asked to mediate in Ukraine war, Ramaphosa said. President Ramaphosa says he spoke with President Putin on Thursday and urged a mediated solution. We have the Chinese leader who is vying to do so. We have the South African leader, and now we had the Turkish leader as well, who are all trying to mediate. Now, what do you think is going to happen there? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so we will be going on to look at enjoy some music, and then we'll have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in. There's a lot more going to be coming your way. NDC MP share video of Joe White affirming he can't vote as presiding speaker. Okay, but now they're saying that, well, the Supreme Court has ruled that he can vote. Well, interesting. As they say, the law is an ass. So maybe you whip it this way, you turn it that way, and that is what seems to be going on. Kasua man 37 shot dead at Owutu Papase over land dispute. And ruling on Deputy Speaker vote leads us into absurdity. Former President Mahama has also said. So now enjoy this music, and we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining us in the next few minutes. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Of
online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio. Turn it up. The leading Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
The coolest way to start your weekend.
In your car,
At work.
at home,
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio. UK. This is Starr Radio. UK.
He has been faithful. All my life he has been so good to me, and I hope that he's been good to you as well. We're talking about the Almighty God, and therefore singing of the goodness of God by the Joyful Way Incorporated. I say welcome once again to the program. It's now gone 5 minutes past the top of the hour, and you know what? We have the man here in the house, the one and only Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who has joined in the broadcast from our North London studio. So let me say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe, and welcome to Friday edition, the 11th March 2022, 5 minutes past the hour, and it's good to be with you.
Okay, yes, We didn't hear the latter bit that you said.
I said it's good to be back again, with all our listeners from around the globe. And as usual, like you say, it's thank God it's Friday for those that are getting paid in United Kingdom, maybe the other way around in Nigeria.
Yes, listeners, that is Olayomi Koiki for you. How are you doing, sir?
Well, as you can see, we're always full of energy, especially that, when you give thanks to the Creator, you see how things are running around the globe. You are still alive. I'll be giving a background to a video that was sent to me from Ukraine, where one of the Nigerians that is studying there, so many of them are Ghanaian, says from that video, it's just about 2 hours before the Russian will be getting closer to where they are in Kiev. So we're going to be playing the sound clip of that video in just about a few minutes when we eventually go into the broadcast. So we still have some of them out there. So for those of us that are not in that situation, we just have to give thanks, to the Creator for enabling us to see today so that we can continue to give thanks to Him as usual.
Yes, listeners, it is Mr. Olayomi Koiki. And there's a cause to give thanks to God. Let me say good morning to Amayo. Amayo, I hope that you are also doing good. Whatever the circumstances or the challenges are, we know that some way, somehow, you are also doing good, surviving. So, well, it is Starr Radio UK, the Friday edition of the morning show. Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you. Okay, well, Amayo says Nigeria situation is new day, new problem. And Yomi will tell you, I pray that may Nigeria not happen to you. Well, I pray that may Nigeria also not happen to you. New day, new problem. But there's problems all across the globe, right? Okay, some is quite stronger or difficult or challenging than others. Anthony Adedeji says, oh my God, he just has his an emoji with his hands covering his face. But well, we thank God that we are still alive. And let's now go to some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria today. Lawmakers urge security agencies to enforce bandits prescription order. What is a bandits prescription order, Yomi?
Well, as you know, there's quite a lot in Nigeria, especially with the insecurity that that we discuss almost every day, because there's always a security problem in Nigeria, and that is also giving a lot of concern. I'm just trying to pick. I've seen that article. This is coming from one of the paper as we continue to review this morning. Lawmakers are now urging security agencies to enforce bandit prescription order. What does that entail? According to the House of Representatives, has urged the Nigerian Army, the police, and other security agencies to ensure the enforcement of a prescription order as published in the official Gazette 108, which declared the activities of the bandit and such groups as terrorists. So at the moment, we still get a lot of report that these are known as bandits rather than terrorists, as contained in volume 108 of the Federal Republic of Nigerian Official Gazette, titled Terrorism Prevention Prescription Order Notice 2021. The federal government had officially proscribed bandit groups in Nigeria as terrorists. The question then is, why do we still get most of the papers using the word bandit rather than terrorists? When you look at the word bandit according to the English dictionary this morning, it will give you a different meaning to the word terrorist. So let's look at it according to the English dictionary. Bandit stands for a robber or outlaw belonging to a gang and typically operating in isolated or lawless area, as we might say. But in Nigeria, these are not bandits, these are terrorists. And what does the meaning of terrorist? Terrorist, a person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians like Nigerians in the northern part of the country, in the southwest and the southeast and the middle belt, in pursuit of a political aims. What is the political aims? That everybody must stand to become their own fanatic Islamic way. We do have a lot of Muslims in Nigeria, not the terrorist Muslim, but we are talking about terrorists and bandits here. And that is why the lawmaker are still asking the question, why do you call them bandits when already, according to the volume 108 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Official Gazette, they are known as terrorists. And Nigeria still remain #3 global terrorism index in the world.
Well, interesting. I mean, the federal government has said that they came out with the law that they should be now known or term them as terrorists instead of bandits. So whatever any newspaper or any news network decide to call them, whether it's bandits or whatever, the action that the military or the security agencies are taking against them or to quell their actions is what will determine whether they are bandits or is that not what we, Nigerians actually want?
Well, I mean, the word bandit should no longer, be, allowed to be used by any of the print or the TV station in Nigeria. But as you can tell, most of them are still using the word bandit, even though that has literally changed according to what the Senate is saying. The resolutions of the lawmaker were squelched to adoption of a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by Honorable Ben Monzudu. Moving the motion, Muzundu said there is an urgent need to stop the new increasing terrorist attack, the gruesome killings by the armed herdsmen and the bandits in Benue community. He recalled that the attack and the gruesome killing, remember that this week alone, 62 vigilantes were killed by terrorists. These are not bandits. These are people that are terrorizing Nigerians from operating on their farmland and within their community and kidnapping on the highway across almost every part of Nigeria this morning.
But is the security or are the security agencies dealing with them as terrorists at the moment? Because we can call them whatever we want to call them. But if the security agencies are not dealing with them the way they're supposed to deal with them, then we're just beating about the bush.
Well, you're quite right. The question is that are the security agency dealing with them, in terms of calling them the word terrorists rather than the word bandit. Most times, like I said, I'm just going to open the official Facebook page of the Nigerian Army, and let's quickly just say, maybe we can pick up something that reflect to that, according to the story that we are discussing right now. There is quite a lot of I was watching yesterday a video that went into circulation where some of the wives of this recently killed military were protesting at the barracks as well. So I'm just going back to see some of the, yes, the military say also that they are doing everything in terms of, tackling the insecurity and also doing as much as possible. But so far, like I said, let me see if we pick anything that regard to that and to be able to portray whether they are using the word bandit or they're also using the word terrorist, because like I said, the word terrorist should no longer be allowed to be used. The word bandit should not be allowed to be used. The word terrorist is what should be the operation model. Okay, now let's look. Okay, this is relating to the IPOP rather than the, there's the one that we're talking about. I'm just gonna pick up. Okay, let's look at this now. Ongoing offense. This was on February 2022 and coming from the official Facebook page of the Nigerian Army, and it goes like this: a breaking news. Ongoing offenses clearance operations record another future as the Boko Haram terrorists and their families, numbering about 41, comprising 11 males and 22 females and 8 children, surrender to the troop. So the army are already using the word terrorist, but the Nigerian newspaper tend to be using the word bandit.
Okay, now just to substantiate a few points there. Now, if they are being treated, if they are bandits, what action, I don't know from the top of your head whether you know that, what action are the military supposed to take against them? And when they are terrorists, or they are known as terrorists or labeled as terrorists, what action, what's the difference there? Are they going to go all out to bomb them or what?
International law, because the international law has different categories for different crimes around the globe. Somebody that is running into a drug cartel will be run on a different platform on international level. So the reason why the federal government was taking a bit of stance to name them terrorists is because that means that officially, globally, even though we know that according to the index that we still have at today, remain that Nigeria is still number 3. But by aligning them and naming them as terrorists means that it is now official from the Nigerian government that has refused, to name them, terrorists rather than bandit. And like I said, when you look at the word bandit, it stands for somebody that is just a robber or people that are belonging to a particular gang. Even here in United Kingdom, we still know that there are a lot of bandits. We might not use the word bandit, but they're just, different element of criminals, whether vandalizing your vehicle or doing all kind of different crimes within the community or different boroughs across the country. So if we're now naming them terrorists, that means these are people that are persons that are using unlawful violence and also intimidation, especially against the civilian, and that is the difference between the two words.
Okay. So internationally, we know that they are terrorists, and therefore you don't have to do anything with them. International law school work against you. Okay, Amayo says now security personnel has been infested by terrorists, which it's easy for them to operate. So he's saying that he thinks that the security personnel have been infested, by terrorists, and that's why it makes them it makes their operation easier for them to go about their duties. Well, maybe you know something else that we don't know, but share it with us. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on to some of the other stories. The Lagos driver who was arrested for killing this young lady, another person has come out to say that the driver raped her.
Well, in every criminality element of people, it won't be the first time that they're doing such. The tendency of these criminal, whether it's individual, whether they are gangs of people that have been operating on that. So yes, you're quite right. I won't be shocked, because we have a country that doesn't have a good database to know who is who. So that means people can easily walk into any state, but they've committed crimes in another local government as well. So when you look at the headline that you did say, the arrested Lagos State bus driver must have raped individual before the death of this young girl that was killed in this public transport that is meant to be a safe one. According to information, a female victim who spoke with one of the mainstream paper, one of the print paper in Nigeria, accused Ominikoran of raping her on November 25th, 2021. That is about December, January, and then February, March. So we are looking at about 3 months that these serial rapists, and when you look at who they call the serial rapists, these are people that commit kind of a crime. Because remember that they take advantage, especially that girls or women might jump onto that vehicle not knowing that he's not picking up any other person, and then he become a victim. But because this other person that was killed was able to give us a good details about the vehicle she was in, even up to the registration number, maybe this other girl could not pick up that information. And then again, when you are raped, how many people would believe you that you got raped inside a Lagos bus rapid transit system? So narrating an ordeal, like I said, on Thursday, the lady accused the 47-year-old of raping her on that same BRT bus. The former sales girl at the shop in Naija says she closed work around 8 p.m. She boarded the BRT bus driven by the suspect. The driver was to convey her from Alashe bus stop in Naija to Jakonde along Lekki Ekpe Expressway when things took another dimension. She said while on her way, he switched off the light bus, but the AC was on. But as we approached the first toll gate coming from Naija, he suddenly parked the bus. He then told me to come and sit at the front and started asking me questions. The question then is, how many of these serial rapists are employed by the Lagos State government on this bus transit that have already done so much damage? But the good thing is, somebody lost their life. But question then remain, who should be held responsible for the death and so many people that must have been raped? And we're encouraging people that have probably have such a bad experience. I know it's difficult to share, but you might want to contact us so that we can establish more of this conversation to the international forum. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
It's interesting because I remember back a few years back when a black cab driver here was luring women that he's won lottery and then give them some champagne and then and then rapes them. Now, so we have these entities going on. But what is the reassurance for Nigerian women? Let me put it that way. Let me say the women, because assuming in the night I need to hop on a bus. I finish work. I don't have the means to maybe hire a taxi or a cab. I mean, if I want to get on a bus, with what has happened that has dented the image of the Lagos bus, the transit bus services, are they going to have maybe something like another person on? Conductor, that's what they call them, the conductor, a bus conductor, to join them so that it can reassure people. Have they come up with any policy like that?
I'm not sure what is going to happen and how, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Lagos State Governor, and his deputy, will be able to manage this, very bad image that has created on Lagos State, in regarding this young 22 girl that, had to, board on their own public transport, but eventually never got to a final destination. I do know that they are putting all measures. From what we know at the moment, I believe that they've put a kind of a stop on that particular transit system, which is already creating again problem because of the transport system in Nigeria. But what we can say is, according to Babajide Sanwo-Olu, this was on the 7th of March, and he says, "Dear Lagosians, the life of every citizen of the state matter to us, and we do not take the security of our people for granted. We will therefore leave no stone unturned in the investigation and the arrest of everyone found culpable in the kidnap and the death of Oluwabamiche Anyanwola. To Oluwabamiche family and loved ones, my thoughts and prayers are with you during this difficult time. May the Almighty God console you. I hereby give you my word that justice will be served. To fellow Lagosians, I assure you that I am following all the investigation closely and will ensure that Oluwabamiche gets justice she deserves. I also ensure you all that the BRT, which is also known as the Bus Rapid Transit Services, remain safe despite this condemnable act. Once again, my sincere condolence." So you can see that the governor is trying to give back a kind of an assurance. But how many people have gone through this rapist before he was caught? But somebody already lost their life before that.
Yeah, we say may her soul rest in perfect peace and may she get the justice. But one question before we move on from there for you to bring the others. What is the compensation scheme when it comes to Nigeria? Something like that has happened. I mean, because of the insecurity, somebody talk about the state, because this is a state-operated bus service, and then something of the sort. Is this person's family going to get some compensation for that act?
Well, because this has now become, in the public domain, so you could be expecting that definitely, the family will be well taken care of. They might probably not be able to see their daughter again, but they will be taken care of, especially, the governor, use this again as, they do something of such, in the politics play. So that means, they will present either a new house to the family. They'll probably relocate them from where they are living, and they probably give them, a kind of a money. But there's not a particular amount of money that can be given to somebody that lost their beloved one. But yes, because of this situation, they will be well taken care of.
I see. Interesting. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK in the North London studios, Mr. Olayomi Koike in the South studios here. I am Archie, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. So now let's go to Yomi for some of the other stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Let's quickly go straight and listen to that audio clip, which is a video, but you can only hear the soundtrack of these Nigerians that are still demanding to get out of Ukraine because things are becoming very very comfortable for them. Let's hear what they have to say.
They told us, they said it's because they are paying us, that's why we are staying here. Hey! How much do you want to pay us? We are addressing the Nigerian government. Whatever thing is going on there, it's a lie. It's a ruse. We are not being paid. We want to come home. Contrary to what everybody is saying, why would...
Sorry about that. Let's come back to it again.
The Nigerian government is saying that they've withdrawn all the students from Ukraine. We are still here. And we are not at the border. We are not in Poland. We are not anywhere. We are in Subi. Yeah. And we are stuck in Subi. Yes. This is the there. People don't have water. People don't have lights in hostels. It's getting cold in the hostels. There's no food at this stage. We are running out of supplies. How long do we want to continue doing this? Whatever is going on, we are calling on the Nigerian government. We are calling on the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Ministry. Please, what do we want? We want to go home. What do we want? We want to go home.
So we are using this opportunity on Star Radio UK to tell the Nigerian government to evacuate all these Nigerians that are still stuck around, Ukraine. For their life is becoming much more in a desperado. They say they don't want to stay in Ukraine. They want to come back home. We were told that 5,000 of them will be brought back home. About almost $8 million was issued out. The question then is, have they been able to use all the $8 million to bring those few? And then probably where is the money? So let me quickly give you 10 things to do to be safe on the BRT. This was put together for those of you that are at home. Since the death of a passenger, Oluwabamiche Anyowole, many citizens of Lagos State have been worried about how safe it is to travel on the bus rapid transit vehicle in Lagos. So let's go and see some of those things that you need to know. To avoid finding yourself in a similar situation at Oluwabamiche, here are some tips to keep you safe while traveling on the BRT. Ask if the vehicle has a CCTV camera, as most of them don't have, especially the local built ones. If the vehicle doesn't have one, it is advisable to wait for the one that has. If the vehicle doesn't have a CCTV camera, try to know the vehicle's license number. If possible, take a picture of it, send it to a relative or friend, alerting them of your journey. Number 3, ensure that you are not the only passenger in the vehicle. Make sure that the passengers are about 5 at least, and don't look suspicious. Number 4, in a situation where the passengers in the vehicle are too much, ensure you sit close to the exit or by the window to make yourself visible to other road users. Number 5, if you feel unsafe, make use of the emergency buttons in the vehicle, which connects it to the control room. This alert officials in the control room to monitor the vehicle's activities. Number 6, BRT vehicles do not have emergency number. Put a call through to one of them. BRT vehicle do have emergency numbers. Put a call through to one of them if you feel unsafe. Number 7, if traveling at night, ensure that the BRT vehicle has inner light. This allows other road users to see what is going on inside the bus. Number 8, please ensure you are alight at your bus stop and not along the road. Object if the driver suggests dropping you by the roadside, and this may be by a ploy to expose you to ritualists or armed robber looking around the corner. Number 9, ask questions or raise alarm if the driver decided to ply a different route other than his designated route. And number 10, the last one, if you had informed your relatives of your journey, ensure you let them know when you are alighted safely. This will not only put their mind at rest, but it will also prevent a situation where the drivers of the bus rapid transit vehicle will be wrongly accused. So you can see that more Nigerians now, after the death of this young girl, has become a little bit more wiser on the safety tips that we've just read on Star Radio UK. Let's now go straight to some other headline coming out as the INEC reject Bello and recognize Buni. We've been discussing this, throughout this week. President Muhammadu Buhari is still here in London for a 2-week medical vacation, and the country, according to the APC, is still having their crisis. Despite the purported ousted of the embattled chairman of the All Progressive Congress and the caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State, by his Niger State counterpart Abubakar Bello, Buni may still be in control after all. This is the Independent National Electoral Commission rejected a letter inviting it to an emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the governing party, where Bello chairmanship, among other things, is to be rectified. INEC petition is contained in a letter that is dated the 9th of March, signed by the Secretary of INEC, Rose Anthony, titled Re-Invitation to the Emergency Meeting of the National Executive Committee. The letter is addressed to the national chairman. So there's still this crisis happening within the political party of the APC. Let's touch on more other headline. Then I'm going to come back again to you in the studio. It's coming up to 11:30 a.m. this morning on Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So many Nigerians are still facing difficulties when it comes to business and the situation, the inflation in the country. FAM developed payment solution for Lagos taxi rider, and also BOI 1 billion syndicate term loan facilitator receives accolade. That is some of the headline. Also, House urges federal government to review mass transport policy and resurrect the urban mass system as well. Analysts optimistic of Nigeria's economic growth in 2022. We do know that there's a lot of inflation in the country. Exchange rate is becoming very high. 770 naira to a pound, 560 naira to a dollar this morning. Let's go straight now and look at this particular one when it comes to the mass transit, because again, most Nigerians cannot move from point A to B very, very easily and swiftly. According to the House of Representatives, has urged the federal government to review the mass transport policy and management with a view to making transportation affordable and accessible as a social right to all Nigerians. It's also urged the federal government to resurrect the urban massive transit scheme in the interest of Nigeria. This resolution followed the adoption of motion on the need to resurrect the urban mass transit. And the question again is, how safe are Nigerians? Because again, yesterday, a train literally ran out of diesel on its way to the last destination, and they had to bring in an extra diesel to put into the vehicle, which is a moving train, and then continue the journey. A lot of Nigerians are asking, how safe are we on the road, on the train, on air, on ground? Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you, bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's now gone, 11:32, but we've got a couple of other stories that we'll have to look at. Now let's go to this story. Nigeria government should settle with Igbos over Nnamdi Kanu, Dele Momodu is saying. But interestingly, I guess whilst we are on air, I was looking at some of the other stories, but there seemed to be a fragmented front when it comes to the IPOP, because we have Simon Ekpa, who self-acclaimed disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, who is saying that the Nnamdi Kanu is no more the leader of the IPOP. So with that fragmented front, don't you think that whatever they are saying, whether government should try to settle whatever things with Nnamdi Kanu, it has been thrown out of the window?
Well, you're quite right. Quite a lot, when it comes to, especially when a leader is picked up, like, Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped and renditioned back to Nigeria. So since his arrest, there's been a lot of conversation. There's been a lot of different stakeholders. There's been a lot of people pushing different communication and different views on moving forward. Remember that, even though Nnamdi Kanu still have access to his legal team, but the question is, who believes the legal team, whether, the messages that they're bringing back to the followers. And yes, you are quite right. Let me just look at some of the headlines that I've looked at, while typing Nnamdi Kanu. The lawyer Ejimafo opens up Nnamdi Kanu's removal as IPOB leader. What could that be? What could that contain? Let's look into that headline that came out yesterday, probably after we left, the morning show. Aloy Ejimako, the special counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has reacted to report that agitator has been removed from his position. Ejimako insisted that Kanu is still the director of IPOB in the United Kingdom, UK. A report added that Kanu was removed as the director of IPOB and was replaced with Sophia Chinyere Kalu. Mrs. Kalu is said to be the group's financial secretary in the UK. According to Ezije Chukuma, a separatist who managed IPOB and the Radio Biafra Community Interest Group Company, CIC, registered in the United Kingdom, Kalu is the new director of the IPOB worldwide. This claim was re-echoed by Simon Ekpa, a self-styled disciple of Nnamdi Kanu. However, Ejimako describes such report as false. In a chat with one of the paper in Nigeria, the special counsel said IPOB structure has not changed. According to Ejimako, the entire structure of IPOB was behind Kanu. He said the report is untrue in its entirety. The organization structure of IPOB as a legal entity in UK remained as it was, with the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as the director. Kanu is still locked up by the Department of the State Service, DSS, on the order of an Abuja High Court. So you can see that definitely, the lawyer is trying to explain that Kanu still remain, the main director of the movement, IPOP, but it doesn't look like for some of the other members and the followers of Nnamdi Kanu.
Well, interesting. We're bringing you more on that front, fragmented front. Do you think that will, let government look at them differently, or do you think that, well, these people are finished, so let's just forget about them? Well, what do you think? Continue to put your comments on our Facebook page. It is Starr Radio UK, 11:35 the time. Now let's move on to some other stories and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, sir.
Let's go straight to some of the comment coming here from Olatunja, who first says, based on the what we're discussing on the VRT and the security, Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos State, is not responsible for the policing and security of Lagos State. It is the duty of the federal government to police and protect the citizens of Lagos State. That is why the unitarity system is bad. Timothy Ogun they say it's too early for that justice first. And likewise, still more comment there. But let's go straight to some more other headline coming out of Nigeria this morning as we continue to say, this is Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Not a very good news again with another death of a young girl. The corpse of a 22-year-old girl discovered in uncompleted building in Osun State. Could we now say that most of our girls are in danger in most part of Nigeria? Osun State Police Command has now confirmed the death of Shakirat, a 22-year-old resident of Iwo Town, Iwo local government area of Osun State, southwest of Nigeria. Confirming the death, the Command Police Public Relations Officer Yemisi Okpalola stated that the investigation to the death was still ongoing in order to apprehend the killer. Okpalola, who stated the command wanted to carry out the screening on the corpse, said the command was compelled to release a corpse to the family who had insisted on instant burial. Shakirat, according to source who pleaded anonymity, was last seen on Wednesday afternoon by family members who became worried when she did not show up at home in the evening. The source stated that the corpse was later discovered dumped inside an uncompleted building at the back of her mother's shop at Oke-Ore. What a very sad one for the mother to witness the death of her daughter dumped behind a shop. He explained that the corpse must have been dumped at the site in the early hours of Thursday by what we could have called suspected Yahoo boys or ritualists. Again, safety of Nigerians, safety of millions of people from the southwest to the middle belt, and these are part of the reason why people are saying it doesn't seem the center is holding any longer, and it might be the best option to disintegrate from Nigeria so that lives can be saved. Let me now go straight to the social media as we continue to give you the best on Starr Radio UK. So I'm going to go straight to what is happening when we type in Nigeria and Nigerians. According to Onye Nkuze at Sis Chukudebelu, if we have money, we earn respect. Money stops nonsense. Nigerians say these things because they are loud, but simply do not read history or anything at all. Just ask a simple question. What happened to the Jewish millionaires and billionaires in Germany? Again, Dikpo Awojide at Ogbeni Dikpo, if it was the pastor Adeboye or Bishop Oyedipo, you will start crying and preaching for days. Just look at you after abusing hardworking Nigerians while dining with Raymond Abbas, aka Osh Poppy, Alatenuje, and I guess he was responding, to a video of Daddy Freeze. I believe Daddy Freeze is one of the critics to most of the churches and the pastors and the reverends back in Nigeria, but he's here in London having a great time with another pastor right here in United Kingdom, and you can tell that it doesn't seem to be going very well as well. Let me quickly also mention a very good critics and also a public figure, Reno Omokere. No developed nation will allow coronation officials organize a beauty pageant in prison and glamorize the winner. Under Buhari, opposition politicians are in jail. How will Nigerians feel if they win elections from jail? Glamour is different and rehabilitation. Again, I'm going to take one more or two more. According to Easter Blog Niger, Pastor Toby Adegboyega that is here in UK, one of the pastors, had a lot of followers, especially with the youth, berate Nigerians who criticize him for showing the video with bundles of pound sterling in UK. You can see that doesn't seem to be going well, as he's also responding as well. So let's take one more from the word Nigeria itself on the social media this morning. IPOP family, let no one tell you Igbo president is the solution to you as a Biafran, because our freedom is not on that, but the total freedom from the Fulani Janjaweed terrorist organization called Nigerian government and their allies. This is coming from that. And just one more, just in, Nigerian army denied the former governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, entry into Ebonyi State government house. What an interesting time when you talk about the situation in Nigeria. David Umahi, remember we said that about, I think yesterday, when we said that the court decided that it is time for him to vacate the government house. He said he wasn't going to be leaving, but I'm not sure whether that doesn't seem to be going very well. This is Star Radio UK 1141. I'll come back slightly to you back in the studio.
Yes, listen, it's Mr. Olayomi keep bringing you interesting stories making the rounds. But Yomi, before we go, someone was asking me behind the scenes, sent me a message asking about these the individuals who were killed at Sunday Igboho's house. During that attack. He said, what has been the update of that? Because they've been following that they've not heard anything. We're talking about that. What has happened to them?
Okay, let's quickly give a brief on that. Thank you very much to the concerning video as well. Also concerned, 2 people were killed. Cats were killed. I think about almost 10 cats were killed. One big one was taken away in the hope that would become Sunday Igboho when it gets to Abuja, but unfortunately that never happened. The 2 individuals very close friend to Chief Sunday Igboho. That one of them was traveling, paid a courtesy visit. He's a businessman, he's a family man, with a wife and children, known as Alhaji Adisa Adogon, a very, very close ally to Chief Sunday Igboho. And the next one was Alhaji Fatai. Alhaji Fatai is the last born of Chief Sunday Igboho's mom. Both of them were fortunate, to have arrived. I mean, this is a visit that they go all the time, but the 2 were killed. The death of Dogon was a butchered murder. He was not just shot by a gun, he was butchered with a lot of things on his head before he eventually passed on. The 2 were taken away, in the presence of the 12 people that were taken to Abuja. We've been able to get the 12 back. 2 of them are still going currently with the terrorism charges against them. But the lawyer are still fighting to know where the federal government has dumped the body of these 2 individuals. But as of today, the 11th of March 2022, those 2 bodies are nowhere to be found, and the federal government is not saying anything, but there's a legal case going on to retrieve the body if the body is still somewhere that the government must have kept them.
Interesting. How many months on? Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. Yomi, before you go.
Well, one more point from here again, from those that are still, Mr. Awofeso again says, Yoruba land is paying a heavy price due to the unitary and the Fudua system which is being practiced in Nigeria. The state government are worthless. They cannot police their own state. And we saw that when Jide Sanwo-Olu was asking during one of the invasion in one of the houses, in Lagos State, and the officer says he has no right to, to give information to the governor. The governor needs to make a call to the Inspector General of Police. From that, I'd say Star Radio UK, a lot of programs over the weekend, but for now, you still have Archie and Frank and the rest of the team to take you through the rest of the program. I'll be back again on Monday for more information, but you can follow us on all our social media handle. But from here, I say a very good morning and bye for now.
Thank you very much and have a lovely weekend. Okay, listeners, yes, that was Mr. Olayomi. I keep bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's now gone, 11:44. We're going to take a quick break, and once we come back, we continue with the show. Remember, exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussions, and at 12:30 exactly, we'll be having Mr. Dan Tabiri, who will be joining in on the program to bring you the Money Hour. And today, he's going to be looking at household budgets, and that is dispensation. The challenge is high energy bills that is going on, cost of living going through the roof, and everything that is going on at the moment. How do you manage your household budget so that at least you'll be able, survive or leave, whichever is applicable. All right then. So stay tuned, don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I like Sonny Okuson summing it up for me. Discussions from Nigeria. Over to you.
To go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. I want to know. Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Tell me. Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Where to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything. We serve a miracle working God. There is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maida Vale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows: Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempe.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now exactly to 11:49 from the hearts of London. Yes, we're going to be going on to look at some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK and other parts of the world as well. So we got all that time to do in the next 41 minutes. Okay, yes, before we have our money man coming in exactly money man comes on exactly at 12:30, and as I've announced, we're going to be looking, when it comes to that, we're going to be looking at household budget. Do you have one? Do you prepare one? Or maybe you're a man of faith, so you just decide, let's blow up whatever we have today. Tomorrow we will see. Yeah, if that is how you're going about things, I don't think that is the right way to go about it. You have to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay, all right then. So he'll be coming your way. Mr. Tabiri will be joining us at 12:30. But now let's look at some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK. Yes, and then we'll move on to other parts of the world. Okay, now UK has sanctioned 386 Russian MPs over Ukraine invasion. Oh my goodness. The UK government has imposed sanctions on hundreds of Russian parliamentarians as part of its response to the war in Ukraine. The 386 MPs who voted to recognize 2 rebel-held areas of Ukraine as independent last month have been hit by the asset freezes and UK travel bans. Now, UK had signaled it would sanction them previously, calling the vote a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. It follows similar moves by the US and European Union. The Foreign Office said the vote to recognize the Luhansk and Donetsk region had served as a pretext for the subsequent Russian invasion of Ukraine. The sanctions on members of the Duma, the lower house of the Russian parliament, will also prevent them from conducting business in the UK. The move follows sanctions on Russian banks, companies and oligarchs in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine last month. Now, interestingly, with flights from Russia not being allowed to come into the UK, vice versa, automatically they couldn't come in, could they? But when somebody will say they could have still been transacting business, online or stuff like that, so now they cannot do all that stuff. But pushing all this, where does it all end? Okay, now people can now welcome refugees into their own homes. Details of sponsorship visa scheme is going to be reviewed, and people can welcome refugees into own homes. So if you are listening to us and maybe you've got a spare room, you've got a spare space, you can take somebody on. Why about that? What about that? But I was listening to pondering over all these stories whilst I was watching some of the news and all the currencies across the globe, and I was asking myself the question. So had it been that, let's take it that this was Nigeria who is at war, and let's say which country is bigger than Nigeria? Okay, Niger has invaded Nigeria and then virtually bombed every place in Nigeria, because I'm using Nigeria because I'm looking at the population of Nigeria, and then people have been displaced of that nature. Would we have people in the West, or would you have the UK saying that, well, let's open our hands and let's welcome people like that into your, can we welcome them into your, do you think like that would have applied to us? Or is it because they are whites, the Caucasians, and therefore, or Europeans, and therefore they think that, oh, we have to be treating them nice? What do you think about all that? I want to have your take on that. Quite an interesting one. You look at the borders where some Nigerian or African students and Asian students who were studying in Ukraine, and because of the bombardment, they might have paid fees, and whether it's under the sponsorship of their own government or whatever, what do you call it? Scholarships that they have, that they had to go to study on. Now, whether it's their own government who has taken them there or individuals doing all that stuff, they are there, they are citizens. Now, we're talking about the fact that when they were even trying to leave Ukraine, some of them were stopped, and all those things that have gone on. So you see that discrimination that still goes on when it comes to that. But my question is, if it's something that is happening in our part of the world, what will other people do? Would we have got the same response, or to this level? Or maybe in Europe, as they are saying, this is the first time in the 21st century where something of the sort has happened. In my lifetime, something of the sort in this magnitude, let me put it, has happened, and therefore this is the way out. What do you think? Well, it is already UK. But Boris Johnson has defended the UK's response to the refugee crisis and said an upcoming scheme will allow Britons to take Ukrainians into their homes. Have you got space? I need another place to come and live. If you got another place, it's on some news networks that UK will be generous to those fleeing Ukraine, and that details of a second visa scheme will be announced on Monday. Defending the current visa rules, the Prime Minister said, people want us to be generous but also careful, which I will agree with them there. The UK has been criticized for only taking in about 1,000 refugees so far, unlike the European Union, which is allowing Ukrainians 3-year residency without a visa. The UK has retained controls on entry, saying they are essential for security. But the government has come under mounting pressure to do more to take in refugees fleeing Ukraine. A scheme allowing individuals and businesses to sponsor a refugee visa to the UK was originally promised on the 1st of March, along with the other main routes for Ukrainians to get to the UK, which launched last week and allows refugees to join relatives already settled in the UK. As Russia targets more cities for airstrikes and shelling, the United Nations said more than 2.5 million people have now fled Ukraine. Now, are you ready to take one of them into your house? And how do you feel if you were on the other side? If you were there, do you think that they would have treated you the same way? I want to know what you think about that. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Now, Sarah Everett vigil planners win a High Court case is one of the stories making the rounds. The Met, please breach the rights of the organizers of a planned vigil for Sarah Everett. 2 judges have ruled the group had to cancel the event after the Met said it will be illegal to stage it under lockdown restrictions. Please, let's not go to this lockdown and these parties that took place there. However, hundreds of people attended an unofficial gathering on Clapham Common in South London to pay their respect to Miss Everett, who was murdered by a 7 Met officer, Wayne Cousins. Now, the vigil on the 13th of March saw clashes between police and some of those there. At a 2-day hearing at the High Court in January, Jessica Lee, Anna Bailey, and Hannah Shaw and Jamie Klingler argued that decisions made by the force in advance of their planned vigil amounted to a breach of their right to freedom of speech and assembly. I know for sure now they will be saying yeah, because behind the scenes there were parties going on in government seat. Now, in a statement after the ruling, the women's solicitor Theodora Middleton said, now today's judgment is a victory for women. Last March, women's voices were silenced. Today, judgment conclusively shows that the police were wrong to silence us. Well, there are some stories making the rounds there. From the UK front, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, so tough times ahead for the UK, and as I said, our money man is going to be telling you more on what you can do when it comes to your budgeting and funds that we have at the moment. Now, Russia's invasion of Ukraine means significant uncertainty for the UK economy. The Chancellor has warned. This is despite the UK growth bouncing back in January as the effects of the Omicron COVID variant began to ease. The economy grew by 0.8% compared with 0.2% contraction in December, the ONS has said. But one industry body warned that the UK faced a higher risk of recession as the impact of Ukraine conflict will add to the sharp rise in living costs. UK households were already facing sharply rising costs before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, in part due to soaring energy costs. The conflict in the Ukraine pushed the price of oil to its highest level for nearly 14 years at one point, and this has had a knock-on impact on fuel costs, with the UK petrol prices hitting records high. Gas prices have also soared, leading to warnings that average energy bills could reach £3,000 per year. In October, after rising to 2,000 in April when the energy price cap is raised. Now, grain prices have also jumped as both Russia and Ukraine are major global producers, particularly of wheat. Now, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has increased the risk of recession in the UK by exacerbating the already acute inflationary squeeze on consumers and businesses and derailing the supply of critical commodities to many sectors of the economy, said Surin Thiru, the British Chamber of Commerce. Said Mr. Thiru said January's growth has now was now like looking into a rear view mirror. So definitely the few months ahead of us is going to be a bumpy ride, and that's why you need the money man's advice on what you have to do this afternoon exactly at 12:30 when it comes your way. One other story from the UK from before I open the lines. The petrol price hits new record above 1.60 a liter. The last time I bought diesel, I bought it 1.55 or 53. Is it 53 or 55? Now, petrol prices have risen above 1.60 a liter on average for the first time as Russian invasion of Ukraine continues to affect the cost of oil worldwide. Unleaded petrol hit 1.61 a liter on Thursday, having risen by 8p in a week. Now, while diesel reached 1.70. The RSC said wholesale fuel costs had dropped for 2 days in a row, but prices at the pump are set to remain high for some time. The rise in fuel costs has led to a squeeze on margin for businesses. Northeast Coach Travel based in Newcastle upon Tyne warned that it could end up running its services at a loss. Now, Jenna Rush, the firm's managing director, said most of its bookings were agreed last year and did not take into account such a sharp rise in costs sparked by the economic fallout from the Ukraine war. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me announce the lines open now. Now, if you want to join in the conversation in the next 28 minutes, we're going to be giving you the opportunity to do so. Call us on 0208 133 2257 or 58 0208 133 2257 or 58. Now, if you are in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, or even in South American area, you can use this number 001718 3032737 001718 3032737. Now, you can text or WhatsApp us as well. When you WhatsApp call us, I'll be able to pick that one as well. 075 396 075 396 Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break, and once we come back, we continue with the program. Don't you go away.
We serve a miracle working God. There is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maida Vale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows: Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempe.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit Medase.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Weather forecast a bit nippy ahead. Beggars can't choose but be picky instead. 9 to 5 blues, kick me, I'm dead.
Okay, welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK. Playing in the background, something from Manifest. And it says what? Some wavy. Well, it seems the world is some wavy nowadays, you know. Okay, so whilst you're listening to the program, that music, let's go on with some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Well, I say it all the time, it's Friday and my mind day as well. Okay, so when it comes to the stories making the rounds, development across the globe, of course, you know, the most of the stories, it's all, on Russia, Ukraine, Russia. There have been positive developments in the ongoing negotiations between Russia and Ukrainian officials, according to Russian President Vladimir Putin. There are certain positive shifts there as negotiators from our side have briefed me. Now, Putin told Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, a key Russian ally, at a meeting in Moscow. So it's 5-5. He said there have been 3 rounds of negotiations between the two sides, negotiating teams on the Ukraine-Belarus border, and on Thursday, the Ukrainian and Russian foreign ministers met for talks in Turkey. But you know, interestingly, when it comes to that one, I don't know what the decisions. They said they didn't arrive at any particular decisions, but well. However, so far there have been no concrete results from the talks. And Mr. Putin also addressed the issue of sanctions against Russia, suggesting that they could have a positive effect on the country. Of course, now these are times of opportunity to move towards strengthening our economic and technological sovereignty, he said. That means that, well, if you sanction me, then what I'm going to be doing is that, okay, we have to learn to be self-dependent. But interestingly, we live in a world where there is no country is independent. Everybody is dependent on somebody, some way, somehow. But what do you think about that? Well, but Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin says companies falling under the Western sanctions will have the right to withhold publishing the names of parties they work with. Okay, it's the latest move by Moscow as it looks to minimize the impact on its economy. Now, Mishustin says the Russian government is actively working on a third package of measures to counteract the string of sanctions imposed for invading Ukraine. The new package will seek to support small and medium-sized enterprises as well as systematically important firms, he says. Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Some updates from the war front. Well, but the UK veteran minister is urging ex-service personnel not to join the war. The UK's veteran minister is urging ex-service personnel not to travel to Ukraine to join the conflict. Leo Doherty has written to military charities to seek their support to ensure veterans instead direct their strong feelings of support for Ukrainians into charity and volunteering efforts from the UK. In a letter he writes, veterans always step up in times of need, but they must channel their skills, experiences and passion into legal routes of support for Ukraine and not engage in the conflict. Now, there are many ways that we all can support the people of Ukraine, including through donating money to charity. And also, now that the government is saying that, oh my, I can see some accidents in my view. Okay, looking through the CCTV. I hope they're not going to tell me that I need to give them some footage of that. All right then. There are many ways that we all can support the people of Ukraine, including through donating money to charity. Also outlining support available for veterans whose mental health may be adversely affected by the war. But you know, if the Ukrainians are saying that, look, we need help, and these people are thinking, well, we've been there, we've seen it all, we know how to use the various weapons, and we want to be involved in that. Though the government of the UK is not sending its troops there, I mean, why shouldn't they be allowed to do so? After all, we have Putin saying that he's also opened a channel to say, look, anyone who wants to help Russia in fighting should recruit. I mean, it's a ploy to bring the Syrians in, isn't it? Well, it is all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11 minutes past the top of the hour.
So faith in something great, but still from 6 to 6 with stones and bricks.
Moving on to some other stories making the rounds. Interestingly, U.S. actor Chelsea Smollett has been sentenced to 150 days in jail after a jury found he lied to police about being the victim of a hate crime. The former Empire star 39 was found guilty in December of 5 charges of felony disorderly conduct after making false report about the hoax attack. The sentence also includes 30 months of probation and $145,000 in restitution and fines. Following the sentence, Smollett said, "I did not do this." And more coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Alrighty, so your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Venezuela has released 2 jailed U.S. citizens following the talks with a high-level U.S. delegation in Caracas. Now, one of those freed is Gustavo Cadenas, an executive with Citgo, a U.S. refining company once controlled by Venezuela's state oil firm. The other is George Alberto Fernandez, who was also arrested last year in Venezuela and accused of terrorism. Now, U.S. President Joe Biden confirmed their release and said both had been wrongfully detained in Venezuela. But do you think that maybe it's because of U.S. trying to use some diplomacy to forestall a bit of peace there? What do you think? It is Starr Radio UK. Well, in the Middle East as well, women held in Yemen freed in U.S. Saudi special operation. The story says that 2 Yemeni American women held in Yemen have been freed in a mission by U.S. and Saudi special forces. A Saudi official has said the women had been captive since going to visit relatives in the capital. Sana'a Defense Ministry spokesman Brigadier General Turki Al-Malki said the joint operation was carried out at the request of the U.S. General Malki said. Now, Sana'a had been held by Houthi rebels since 2014, and Saudi Arabia launched an offensive against them in 2015. The rebels have also taken control of large parts of the West Country, forcing the Western-backed government to relocate to the southern port city of Aden. The conflict between the Houthis and the Saudi-led coalition of Arab states have created a devastating humanitarian crisis and left tens of thousands of civilians dead or wounded. Now we want them to we want the UK to allow them here as well. Allow them into the UK, or allow them to the US. I mean, those who have been displaced there because of this war. What do you think? All right, then 40 minutes past the top of the hour at the time. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
But thank God it's Friday. Maybe my gets miniature. During the week I'm busy.
Okay, so moving on. North Korea has tested an intercontinental missile system. The story says that the US is saying the US says North Korea recently tested part of a new intercontinental ballistic missile, that is ICBM system, in what is called a serious escalation. Now Pyongyang said the launches on the 26th of February and the 4th of March focused on developing a reconnaissance satellite. But the Pentagon now says the tests were experimental launches before a likely full-range ICBM is launched. Now, with a minimum range of 5,500 kilometers, that's 3,417 miles, ICBMs can reach the US. They are designed for nuclear arms delivery. On Thursday, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said North Korea's two tests involved a new intercontinental ballistic missile. What a world we live in, what a world we live in, what a world we live in, what a world we live in. Star Radio UK. Well, thank God it's Friday and my mind day. And it's Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, when it comes to negotiating, we have the South Africans who have also thrown their hats into the ring, saying that they also want to be part of the negotiating team between Russia and Ukraine. But now I've got Kojo D who has joined in, so let's go, because we got a short time, about 40 minutes before we have that money man. So let's use that time to have a chat. Kojo, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Archie. Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing very, very well. And you?
I'm good. Yeah. At least in this wicked world we live in now.
Oh, tell me about it.
Human life values to zero.
But let me ask you a quick question. Now, looking at what is happening in Ukraine, and you're looking at the fact that they are calling for, the UK, even they said, people should open their homes to welcome people. Do you think that if the same thing has happened in somewhere in Africa, will we have the same response from the West?
That is an interesting question. We can work out that it's not magic really. We can just work it out by what happened in Syria. The Syria at the peak was some in the region of 5.6 million people who left Syria. But I think what happened in Syria, there were not so many people living within a short time as we see in Ukraine. The war has now gone up to 10, 11 days. And we've almost seen 2 million people, 2+ million people. The estimate now is 2.1 million. Living within 10 days, as compared to Syria. We didn't see that huge number of people living at a particular point in time. But the funny part of it is that those people were crossing from Syria through Eastern Europe to get into Western Europe, where they were being welcomed. Germany was ready to take 3 million people. So they were ready to welcome people coming in. France was ready to welcome people. But the problem was the same countries that they have to go through, like Belarus and other countries, didn't allow them. So there was a situation between Belarus and Poland in the border, where Belarus was actively encouraging people to go to Poland.
Yeah, so we'll open the border for you. Go into that.
Polish people too were complaining about they coming in.
Yeah.
And that escalated, but I think it was resolved eventually. So that said, there is still this doubt that whether if it had happened in Africa, where would Africans be crossing through? I mean, the sea becomes a natural barrier that separates Africa and Europe.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it would have stopped so many people moving across anyway. But in spite of that, people still went through Libya to Italy, where a lot of people too were welcome in Italy. So we have to be fair on that point. But the scale wouldn't have been the same as we have within the continent. Yeah, so you have people who, obviously made racist remarks that blue eye and blonde hair children. I mean, so we can tell where it's coming from. That was coming from a CNN reporter or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we are fair enough to say that there would have been some kind of skepticism. But if we compare it to what happened, and US delayed in evacuating and the UK evacuating people from Afghanistan, people were being urged to open their homes. There were people who in the UK were prepared to open their homes. People openly said they would take Afghan refugees. So I think it's fair to say that people will be prepared to, if they have been educated correctly, for them to understand the situation. But as I said previously, the sea acts as a natural barrier, so it's difficult for people to cross over.
We can all not swim.
Exactly. Unlike when you are in mainland Europe, the sea doesn't become a natural barrier. You're free to cross everywhere you want. But again, you can see the stance the UK has taken. I mean, people cross and get to Calais with the view that they've gone through Poland, traveled the whole length and breadth of Europe, and get to Calais, and they are not being allowed in. So so it's the same situation with the people there. Again in Calais, where mass numbers of Syrian and Afghan and to some extent Eritrea and Ethiopian refugees want to cross through Calais. They are not being allowed. So it's the same situation. Ukrainians are not being allowed to cross over.
Well, listen, that's interesting one there. It's 12:21. So let's quickly just cross straight to Africa, especially to Ghana. Let's look at one story from there. Now, the ruling by the Supreme Court pertaining to the acting, the deputy speaker controlling and having to vote, the right to vote. So you become a referee at a point, and then you can become a penalty taker as well. And then you can score, and then you can blow the whistle. We've won. Well, the member of parliament, we have the opposition saying that one of the members, Clement Apak, has said the minority will not allow deputy speakers to vote in spite of the Supreme Court ruling that they can vote while presiding over affairs in parliament. So I'm looking at what happened before they went on the break last year when they were doing this what do you call it, e-levy thing, when they started it, and then now that we find out that the Supreme Court has now come to rule, and he's saying that the opposition are going to make sure that they will allow this the speaker to vote. So how are they going to do that? Are we going to have some skirmishes once again in the house, on the floor of parliament, and then we'll have the military coming in as they did at the time?
Look, my view is that it's a dangerous precedent. Look, the issue is that if I sit on the throne, why should I be the rule maker? Why should I be the referee? Why should I at the same time have that same opportunity to decide who is the winner? I think it's quite very obvious that if the deputy speaker mounts the seat to become the speaker, he should be deprived of that ability to vote. Same way when the speaker sits there. So the precedent being set, are they going to go back and say if the speaker is an MP, they can vote?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Because Abagbagben is an MP, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm
So can he vote?
He should also be allowed
to vote. Yeah.
You can't deprive the speaker, from voting. And if the speaker is not in the chair, the deputy speaker automatically becomes
the speaker. Yeah.
So if the speaker cannot vote while sitting in the chair, whoever goes to sit in that chair shouldn't also have that ability to cast a vote.
Okay.
That is how the rules should go by. So if you're saying the deputy speaker, whilst he becomes the substantive sitting speaker at a point and a vote is being cast, can vote, then the speaker, as it stands currently, should also be allowed to vote.
Yeah. I think the NDC, the opposition, has to also push for that then, because I mean, of course, because he was also voted for by his constituency.
Yeah.
Abang was voted for. He stood for his seat.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Look, if the speaker is also an MP, which is always the case, the speaker has to be an MP, then the speaker too should be allowed to vote. If his deputies can vote, then he should
also be allowed to vote.
To cast his vote while sitting and presiding over issues.
Interesting.
I think it's just a wrong precedent. In my view, I think the ruling of the Supreme Court has an error. So how do you treat these other? And I'm sure if they go back to appeal, what will be the situation? So we will have an issue where somebody goes in to sit in becomes president and also decide to flood the Supreme Court with judges that will be favorable to decisions that have been made in Parliament and influence the outcome of votes in Parliament or influence the outcome of anything that happens in the country. I think they shouldn't have allowed this to happen. They shouldn't have made this kind of. That's my view, really. Because if you're going to allow the deputy speaker, whilst he becomes the speaker in the chair, to vote, then the speaker too must have a right to vote.
Yeah, of course.
Because they are both performing the same duty. Then the speaker should also say that I'm going to stand from the chair and go to the floor and vote. And that becomes a chaos.
Because now that the minority is saying, the opposition, let me not call them the minority, because now none of them have got a majority there. The opposition is saying that, well, we will stop them from doing that. What means are they going to use? Are they going to hold him? So you get what is going to happen there?
Well, you know what is going to happen. Once he goes there, they're probably going to do exactly what they did previously, keep him in the chair and stop the ballot from going to him. And that's going to create so much confusion, because when the ballot goes out, the ballot papers go out to everybody to vote. So what they are going to do is that they're going to make sure a ballot paper doesn't get to him. Probably that's what they're going to do. Or even if he votes, somebody will be interfering with the vote casting.
Yeah.
And we will see the same things that we have seen in the last months, several months ago, when there was that confusion. That is likely to be seen again if the speaker isn't there to sit in his chair and the deputy assumes the speaker's role. I mean, I have never seen that happen in a proper democracy. I mean, no, I don't want to say it's not a proper democracy. That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen it happen in any democratic institution. So you look at Lindsay Hoare in the British Parliament. I think sometimes you say this, they'll say that our systems are different. You look at the speaker in House of Commons. Does he go to vote? He doesn't vote.
No. He sits in the chair, to regulate things. When there is a discourse, he's the one who sees to it that this one is allowed to speak and there is fair hearing and everything. But
so if you're going to allow a deputy speaker who assumes responsibility in the day of voting to vote, is it really being seen as impartial or a partial referee in that instance?
You know, interestingly, what I'm looking at is now that the NPP think that they've chucked a victory from that. If it happens that another elections and then the NDC is in power and they win that election, and the same thing, and they are using the same rule against them, you see that they'll be crying foul.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the speaker's role within within Parliament should actually be turned into this kind of game. I mean, I see it more as a game, honestly. That's how it appears to me. It shouldn't be politicized at all. Okay. I mean, it's a grave mistake.
Okay. A grave mistake. Listeners, 12:30, we'll be running up the first part of the program because we're going to be having Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, joining us. But then let me come to Kojo for any of the story that has made his day today. Over to you, Kojo.
Do you want to pay high energy prices?
No.
Yeah, that's a worry now. As long as this kind of war progresses and doesn't see an end to it, I mean, I don't think it's fair. You go to the pumps, you see how much the petrol and diesel are retailing. I mean,
diesel 170, petrol 162.
It's really come to a point where you think that, look, something must happen. I mean, although technically in the UK we don't really depend too much on oil and gas from those two countries at war, sort of because there will be a shortage in the world system. We're all going to sort of be affected.
Yeah.
Because the UK is probably taking just 8% of diesel.
Yeah.
Right. From Russia, which they said they're just going to stop now. And they're going to stop gas exports to by the end of the year. But so where do we get the extra from? Everybody is stopping and going towards the Arab countries.
Yeah.
The Arab countries were not producing enough because they also want to maximize price. So I think there is a pressure on the Arab countries now to ramp up production. But there'll still be a shortage because in a whole, I think Russia supplies about 16 billion barrels. A day, I think so. So there will be a shortfall of 16 billion barrels. And it's going to be a tough time for everybody, really. I mean, that is why Money Man is here to talk about budget. To see where we can make adjustments. To absorb all this shock that is coming to our pockets. I mean, it's a shock to our pockets. So technically, an average family size, so if you put petrol or diesel in your car, you are spending extra 8 to 10 pounds. As to what you were doing previously. I mean, I was at the pump last week, and normally I would have filled my tank to about a little bit below 60 pounds, or just let's say about 60 pounds. I mean, I did pump. By the time I saw the pump, it has already got to 70.
I got to 80 something, and I was like,
When I got to 70, I just held it, and I saw that the tank still wasn't filled. I'm driving just a 1.4 liter engine car, as probably compared to yours, which is a 2 liter.
2 liter,
And I'm not even going up that high. I just thought, I said, what's happening here? And I saw a few people with cans, because where I was, it seems to be the cheapest on the road.
I see.
What was retailing?
Oh my!
And what I was 146.
Oh.
Yeah, so I saw people with cans.
That's quite interesting. But it's dangerous though.
People were filling out, and the queues were so long. And I was wondering, why are the queues long? When I got there, people had extra tanks and gallons and petrol cans, and they were dispensing into it. I was like, what are you doing? It was, how long are you even going to use 2 gallons? Or
that would just be that
10 gallons. If you have jerry cans, 2 of them, that's about
10 gallons.
Gallons. How long are you going to use that? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's finished. So So yeah, we want the money man now.
We need him. We need him. Okay. Kojo, let me say thank you very much. I think the money man is on. Unless you want to ask him a question before.
No, you ask him all the questions.
Okay then.
We want to save money.
We want to save money. We definitely want to save money. Okay. Kojo, thank you very much. We'll catch up later.
Yeah.
Right then. Right. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It's now time for our money man who has joined us. And as Kojo said, it has been a time that we need a money man to talk to us, to ease the pain, to reassure us. It's this time. And we have got no other person but the one and only Mr. Dan Tabiri. Mr. Tabiri, good afternoon to you.
Very good afternoon, Archie. It's a pleasure to speak to you again and your wonderful listeners this afternoon.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, by God's grace. Looking up to Him to see us through.
Oh my! The money man says that we need God to see us through. That means that you need to really listen to what is going to be going on. Now, these are hard times. I've been talking about before the war broke. I mean, early part of this year, we were talking about the fact that energy prices were going to go up and everything that government was saying. Government was trying to do everything to support us a bit, where we had 150 that's going to be coming from your council tax, and then another 200 from the energy. But now it looks like all this have been thrown out of the window.
Yeah. So I mean, all those are still coming through, but it's not going to be enough. That's the bare fact.
Yeah.
And the Chancellor, I mean, has been made aware that this is the case. But we know, like everything else, he also has a job to make sure to balance the books, to make sure the UK's economy is strong when we come out of this difficult period that we find ourselves in. So it's a balancing act.
Okay.
I think the next budget reading is expected to happen in the next couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
That would give us an insight into what the Chancellor is thinking, whether he's going to, offer more help, which would mean that the UK would be expected to go into more borrowing to see people, to support families and businesses through these difficult hardships that is being predicted.
Well, listeners, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. When it comes to anything pertaining to your accounting, yeah, he is the man, and that's the company to see to it to sort it out for you. And this afternoon, we have him here, and he is going to look at what? A budget. Household budgets, because I don't think we can live our lives the same way that we've lived. So that something needs to be done. So, household budgets that you want to talk about today. Yeah, I cannot go about doing the same thing that I was doing as if 2 years before. Before the pandemic and everything came in. Now, what do you think people should do now? Household budgets. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. So just to have a general conversation around what we can do to at least minimize the impact of the hardships that are about to happen or it's on our doorstep. So what are some of the things that we can do? What are some of the general advice that is out there that we can, little small changes that we can do, in our lives, in our finances, that can go a long way to make a difference and help us navigate these difficult periods. I think if you haven't been one who always budgets, I think if there's any time at all to look at your budget, the household budget, then really this is the time. You need to be able to know, maybe somewhere at the back of our minds, we all know how much we are spending on things.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you put things on paper, you get more clarity and it helps you to better plan.
Okay.
So you can see what is ahead of you and be able to plan the finances better. So if you're a household who has not been doing any form of budgeting, I would really encourage you to do so. And budgeting, in effect, is actually sitting down to assess what you spend on. So, for example, the major expenditure in the home might be your rent or your mortgage. So you know what percentage perhaps that is to your monthly income. So if your income is one that is fixed, then you know that, at the end of each month, maybe 30% or 40% of this is going to my rent. Your utilities is going to take about 10%. Your telephone bills, your clothing, your food, and then grocery expenditure is going to take maybe another 10 or 20%. Some entertainment, is going to take about 10%. Maybe some charitable giving is also going to take about 10%. You have to support family back home, maybe another 5% or 10%. So all those things are important. You need to be able to have a visual of them. So I would say write everything down, and then once you have a visual picture of the structure of your cost or how much you are spending, your budget, then you can take some decisions as to when it comes to the crunch, where in your budget can you reduce some of these costs.
Okay.
For example, if fuel costs, for example, are expected to be very high in the next few months. It's already high.
It's already high, yeah.
So then it might be a good idea now to start making some changes, trying to plan your journey. If your journey is one that, perhaps maybe it's easier to get from point A to point B on a public transport, maybe that is what you can do. Anything that, small changes that you can make to your life that you can use to perhaps reduce these costs. That is what I'm looking for us to discuss this afternoon.
Wow, listeners. You better take your pens and your papers and make notes, because it's very, very important. Very, very, very important. So, what would be one of the points that you look at? I mean, yes, we're getting the budget down. We're trying to put what should be,
the budget is the first thing. I wouldn't say, develop a complicated spreadsheet or anything like that. But at the basic, have knowledge of what your household spends each month, so that once you have the structure and you know how much is going into each of these areas, then you have the tools in your hand to be able to make decisions. So you would know perhaps where you can make some adjustments here and there. Okay. The other important bit as well that we need to look at, we are in a situation where debt can become a problem. So where the income is fixed, or the income is not rising, but our cost of living is going up and up. There is likely to be a deficit, which in effect we all tend to rely on borrowing, either overdraft or credit card, to meet these demands. And so it's important that you have your debt management skills up to scratch. So debt management skills, I'm talking about, if you have a debt, how do you plan to pay off these debts? How do you plan to ensure that these debts do not go out of hand and they do not become unbearable to a point where you cannot meet the payments on your debt? You might want to start looking at the sources of funding that you have. Do you have overdraft facilities? Do you have a credit card? So we know that borrowing on overdraft, for example, are cheaper form of borrowing than credit cards.
Yeah.
So it might be a time for you to maybe speak to your bank to increase your overdraft limit, to make it easier or cheaper for you to borrow. Okay, if credit cards we know are a very expensive form of borrowing, and so I would not recommend that you do. But in times of difficulty, as we find ourselves in, you may not have any choice but to rely on a credit card. So if you're using a credit card, you make sure you use credit cards with the lower interest rate you spend on those credit cards rather than the higher interest rate credit cards. Okay. And also take advantage of the 0% balance transfer offers that are on the market. So, for example, your bank may be offering you that if you transfer some balance of the credit card onto their account, you will not pay any interest for maybe 6 months or 1 year. There are loads of them on the market at the moment. So what you would be wanting to do is to secure one of these 0% interest facilities, and then if you have a credit card where you're paying interest on that facility, you will want to be transferring funds across to the 0% transfer card. You might pay some finance charges. I think it's usually around between 1% and 3%, and it still works out cheaper if you're not having to pay any interest on these debts.
Okay.
So that is a very, very important way of managing your debt. And also, if you have to be paying back your loans on your debt at this time, then you will be looking at paying off the ones with the highest charges, highest interest
rates. Okay.
You're paying them off first, so that the cost of your borrowing it will be reducing over time. Also, in this particular time, I would urge people to also look at their credit files. If you are somebody who has not been taking a look at your credit file, I think it's important that you do. Get your credit file and see what types of debts or liabilities are going on against your name and what's the ratings on your file.
Okay.
Sometimes it helps you if you have to approach lenders. The rates that they are offering. If it's not good for you, you'll be able to move around and shop around and look for lenders who would borrow or lend to you at your credit rating.
Okay.
You can use that as part of in support of your application. Those are some of the little things. Things like if you have a mortgage and paying the mortgage at this particular time is difficult to get you through. You can speak to your bank and also your lender to see whether you can have a mortgage holiday. I know we've come through one recently during the pandemic where it was generally offered to everybody. But mortgage holidays are always available. If you speak to your lender, they may be able to grant you some holiday and give you some relief, especially at this time. So those are some of the things. And by all means, if you are in difficulty with debt, you need to seek help. Speak to a professional, speak to a financial advisor, speak to your accountant, and they will direct you. If you go to if you need to seek legal help, there are people there with government institutions who will be able to offer you help at no cost at all, to guide you through these difficult times that we find ourselves in.
Wow. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man. Today, dealing with household budget in this dire times where things are so challenging. You look at the bills and you ask yourself, how do I even find the means to pay it? But he's giving you the pointers as to what to do if you find yourself in such a situation. Well, as we all find ourselves in such situations, what we can do, and he's looking at the household budget. But if you have any questions, feel free. You can text them in or you can call in. I will allow you to add your voice to the discussion or ask the question, and he will make sure that he answers it for you. But when it comes to any issue pertaining to your accounts, oh my goodness, look no further. They are there to see to it for you. GIL Accountancy Services is going to see to that for you. Okay, now let's look at groceries and food stuff and stuff like that. Now, what can people do about such thing? Because you go to the supermarkets and the prices are going up. What do? These are what the people, the children like to eat, or this is what you love to eat, and you are buying it at this particular shop. You know the price is going up. What can people do on that front?
Yeah, so as we know, prices are going up. Inflation is high at the moment. They are going up everywhere. But it means that now you have to be a more savvy shopper, which means that you need to look at the products that you put in your trolley or in your basket carefully, see what other alternatives are there, what are these, not necessarily, the cheapest option, because you also have to look at something that is giving you the nutrition value is healthy as well.
Yeah.
So it's not always all about money, but it helps. It means that if previously you went to shop and you did not compare prices, you did not compare nutritional values in what you're buying, or the quality in what you're buying, then this is the time that you need to spend a bit more time to look around, to shop around and compare prices, so that you know that you're getting the best value that you can. Sometimes if you go into some of these shops, the shop's own brand are not necessarily cheaper quality, and so sometimes people tend to shy away from these brands, mainly because the price might suggest that it's of a lower quality. But if you look at the content of the product themselves, some of them have have equally good nutritional values, good healthy balance, ingredients and nutrients in there that are, don't just go with the brand name, the high brand name. Sometimes they don't mean much. So that's what I mean by being savvy and looking at what's on offer and making a decision as to what exactly you want. Not necessarily the price. Yes, the price counts. The price makes a difference. But ultimately, you want to gather all the information that you can, so that you can make the best decision. At the tills or on the aisles, I should say.
Wow, listen to Starr Radio UK. We got a few minutes to go, but when it comes to those who love to brand, what do you think the advice is there? Will you give to them at this time? Do they have to say look at brands? You were comparing a few items that you think that they might have the same components. If you look at maybe a cheaper brand, those who love brands, what would you tell them?
Yeah. So it comes down to our individual taste that we have a taste and habit that we have formed over a number of years. And sometimes we get used to a certain taste or a certain brand, and we don't want to, try anything else. It might be the time to try other things, see what's out there. So if your brand is expensive, there are other alternatives on the shelf which may be cheaper. Take a look at what's in there and try it as well. You might even like it better. There was a program which was on TV. I think it's been on TV. I don't know whether it's on there at the moment, where they put different brands, or especially food, and ask people to taste it. And then they ask them to tell which ones are brands, store brands, and which ones are the premium brands. And if you watch those programs, most of the time, the ones that the people tend to go for as the premium brand tend to be the store brand.
Yeah.
So it's what your palate has been trained to take. It might be a good time for us to try other brands as well, not just stick to one.
Yeah.
Because it might mean that perhaps you'll be paying less for even a better product than you're used to. Sometimes when we're used to something, we don't tend to change, but it's time to try other brands as well.
Wow, it's time to try other brands as well. I remember about a couple of about a month ago or thereabout, I went to one of the supermarkets to go and get I was given a list to go and get stuff. No, I went there and I was looking at one particular margarine that I was supposed to get, but I thought, now I can see that this is like the same color, but the name, I said it's not the same name as the one that we normally get. I decided not to get it. So when I got home, and then I was talking to the missus, and she said that, oh, that is the same brand, but they've given it a different name because this one is coming from. I said, but that is cheaper. The one that I saw in this shop was cheaper than the one that we keep on buying. So I think it's about time that people look into those things. Do your research before you go do your your grocery shopping or whatever thing that you have to do. Yeah.
And also, if I may add that bulk buying at this particular time may be more advantageous than shopping more frequently. So if you're somebody who buys more frequently, then you would want to look into shopping for longer term. And so buy in bulk so that you take advantage of discounts on products that are available. Because when you buy in bulk, there is an added. There are usually small cost advantages. They are cheaper. The more you buy, take advantage of these and make your expenditure and your budget manageable.
Yes.
There was also a message that I received recently, and which is a very good advice to pass on. In regards to our energy bills, which we are expecting that it's going to go up from the 1st of April. The advice is that everybody, doesn't matter what type of meter that you're on. Well, unless you are on a pay-as-you-go meter, but if you are on a monthly payment meter or an accrued meter, then I would say you would have to, on the 31st of March 2022, which is the last day before the new premiums or the new tariffs kick in. Make sure you take a meter reading.
Okay.
Take a meter reading at the end of the day, and if you can, submit this meter reading to your energy provider so that your energy provider knows that you have the meter reading for that day. Because it's important to make sure that when the new tariffs kick in on the 1st of April, that you are not charged on usage before the 31st, before the 1st of April. At the new rate. So the system of our providers, if they may not be sophisticated enough to be able to show the difference, or if anything at all, you are making sure that indeed you haven't been overcharged on your electricity bills, electricity and gas bills. So let's take the meter readings and submit them to our energy providers. I think that is a very good practice, a very good advice to take.
Wow. Listeners, Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man. Household budget? I think today I've got so much information that I've got over the years, It's like, something that you can use now. But Mr. Tabiri, before we run up the conversation, can you sum up, and then if you have any other things to talk about, you can put it across as well, and the contact details as well, please.
So in summary, really, we know what is coming. the situation in Ukraine is not easing anytime soon from what we can see. So we have a bit of a pain coming up, which we have to go through. So please look at your finances. If you need help, speak to somebody who can help you, a financial advisor, an accountant, any trusted person who you think knows a bit more about finance than you do. Get the help that you need to be able to navigate this problem. And if you need help, please do not refuse to ask for help and seek help. We all have to be in this together. And also, I would like to add that in seeking help, if situations become difficult and you have to rely on food banks, to sustain you through some difficult times, do not be afraid. Do not be
shy,
worried to fall on them. There are lots of very good food banks around who help. Especially in these times. It's important that we all get through this process, whatever it takes. And sometimes, you might have to put your ego aside and ask for the help that you need to see you through. Obviously, as always, I'm available to advise or give you any assistance that I can. You can reach out to me on 07961248834, 07961248834, or you can reach me on my email at dan@gilaccountants.com.
dan@gilaccountants.com. So please, it's an accountant with an S this time around. Yes, make sure you get in touch with him. Mr. Tabiri, let me say thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
You're most welcome, and it's been a pleasure speaking to you and your listeners. I would urge them to continue to keep the dial on Starr Radio, where we share information, entertainment, and news around the world. Amen.
Thank you, sir. We catch up later. All right then. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Right then. Bye.
Bye.
Well, listeners, this is why we're bringing the program to a close. I hope that you've enjoyed today's program because you really need that, don't you? I also need that badly. But some way, somehow, we've given you the tools that you can use at this time to at least, sort of soften the pain. Okay, that we might be going through, or we are going through, whichever is applicable. But Starr Radio UK will bring you more discuss on such issues, and we hope that it will help you as well. On that note, let me say thank you very much to each and every one of you who tuned in today to listen to us. Those of you who were watching us live on Facebook, those of you on YouTube. Somebody telling me, prompting my producer is prompting me that I've not checked on my YouTube to see whether there were any comments there. So I have to go there. Let me quickly just check that before we bring the program to a close. When I say a close, I remember one of my tutors in secondary school. Okay. So yes, no comments there, but a few people watching there and some likes there. Okay, thank you very much for that one as well. Thank you, as many of you who are watching us on that. All right, so on that note, let me say thank you. Have a lovely jubbly weekend. Keep safe, and continue to keep your dial so logged on Starr Radio UK, as Mr. Tabiri said, and I'll see you, God willing, on Monday. But remember, this evening we'll be having an FYS Warakoto coming your way. Tomorrow dawn, exactly at 5 a.m. we'll be having the Reverend Michael Siama and Power Word International bringing you the Power Hour. Command your morning. Make sure you get in there. It is time to pray as well. You have to pray. You have to seek your God, because these are dire times. And then Sunday we'll be bringing you another live church service in the evening, exactly at 5 o'clock. KB Bossman will be coming your way with the Faith Talk. So those are the programs that have been lined up for you over the weekend. But hey, it will not be void of music. We're going to be having lots of music this afternoon till tomorrow. And name it, it's all mixed grill. You'll be enjoying that. On that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in once again to listen to us. It's been a pleasure coming your way. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. Let's take this song from our man.
Hungry man say fix the country. Belleful say fix yourself. Who really needs fixing? Now how? Him. Yeah. Come on. Country hot. Country hot. Plenty no get what to eat. Even picking they feel the heat. So we all they pray for change. Kala. Country hot. Country tough. Everybody feel the heat. Even picking they feel the heat. So we all they pray for change. We say fix the country. They say fix yourself. We say fix the country. They say fix yourself. Yeah. Tell me who and you and me be the country. Fix yourself. I agree. We say fix the country. They say fix yourself. Yeah. They say fix the country. They say fix yourself. No. Tell me who. Tell me me. Tell me you be the country. Fix yourself. I agree. Water plenty, mumu be thirsty. Water plenty, mumu be thirsty. We get to go do plenty cocoa, but we still they borrow they go to get a job. It be whom you know. We live like crabs in a barrel. Shayo, rupa beshi and look. Hey, we say fix the country. They say fix yourself. Yeah. They say fix the country. No. Hey, tell me who, tell me me, tell me you be the country. Fix yourself. I said now you did. We say fix the country. You say fix yourself. Yeah. They say fix the country. We say fix yourself. Hey, tell me who, tell me me,